Well, welcome everyone to our latest edition of Pulse of Prevention podcast, an insurance collaboration to save lives. And I want to start off this episode by thanking our latest partner in our effort to save 1 million lives, and that's AM Best. We joined AM Best Media Program as a preferred podcaster and influencer, and I had the privilege of touring AM Best headquarters a few weeks ago, and we couldn't be more thrilled with the impact of our partnership and reach in the insurance industry with AM Best. And I can't think of anybody better to start off this partnership with as our next guest, and that's Vinny Fiorino, Senior Assistant Vice President at Amica Life Insurance. So, Vinny, welcome to the Pulse of Prevention.
Thank you very much for having me, Mitch. I'm honored to be here and congratulations on your journey so far and excited to be a part of it.
Well, thank you for that, and maybe provide the audience a little bit of a background of your time in the insurance industry and why you're so passionate about improving health through the insurance industry.
Thank you. So I'm an actuary by trade. I've been in the life insurance industry now for 31 years. A lot of my background is on product development and underwriting innovation. I priced one of the earlier products on accelerated underwriting. But also, I saw opportunities. I had a very unique situation where my late wife was diagnosed with cancer at age 29, and while she was pregnant with our daughter. And at that point, she and I sat down together and said, this is going to be the most important science project of our lives. We're going to do research and we're going to find out what we can do to help you live a longer life. She was after having been diagnosed a year, it came back, it moved to stage 4, and she was terminal. So we had decided that we were going to turn this into the most important science project of our lives. We did all this research, and we decided that we were going to take up a vegan diet. We were going to juice, we were going to exercise, and I was going to do it to support her. So that was an opportunity that I saw how important nutrition, early screening, lifestyle, what you could do. She was actually doing very, very well. I saw the impact of changing diet and what that had for her in exercise. But I also couldn't help but think about all the opportunities, even though she was so young, to have caught this earlier. So she could have lived a longer life. Basically, 60 years was taken away from her. She passed away at 34. So this has always been a lot more than a job to me. I was very lucky to have met and worked with Health IQ. Health IQ gave people credit for living a healthy lifestyle, whether it was nutrition or exercise or weightlifting. So I really was drawn to that group, given what I had experienced with my wife. So it was a great opportunity to basically combine the experience that I had with my corporate life, where I could help make life insurance more affordable for people for doing the right things. And it not only did that, but it put a spotlight on how important those things for living a healthy lifestyle. Then I was lucky enough to meet the Grail team and what the unbelievable work that they've done in trying to catch cancer early in a simple blood test. And it was an amazing group to work with. And I was able and honored to partner with them to provide that benefit to some of my policyholders. And again, it was another opportunity to keep life insurance affordable and also help people with that potential to live a longer life. And to me, policyholders aren't numbers on a page. Having been through what I've been through, if you can save one life, if you can detect cancer early for one life, if you can open people's eyes to nutrition, and you can open their eyes to living a healthy lifestyle, every one person makes all the difference in the world. So I've been very, very passionate about not only creating products that are accessible and affordable, but also helping people have access to tools and education that will help them live a longer and healthier life.
That's certainly a powerful story and background, and I know the sincerity, and I've seen you at many insurance conferences over the past 2 or 3 years tell your story, and it has had a big impact on the audience in all those stories. And I'd be remiss, it's very rare that an actuary gets to go on live television at Good Morning America and tell the similar story or tell your story in that audience. You want to give our viewers a insight to how that experience was?
Sure, it was really a great opportunity. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month, and the Amica marketing team gave us a great opportunity as that we have a great partnership with ABC and Disney. They gave us that great opportunity to get on TV and really provide the message of how important life insurance really is. Not only how important it is, but how affordable it can be, how accessible it can be. Um, Given what happened to me at a young age and understanding that even as a professional in the life insurance industry, I continued to delay the purchase of life insurance. Again, because when you're young and you're starting out, it's not affordable. It's not at the top of your priority ladder. You don't have the funds to go there. You forget about the emotional pain that you're going to be going through as you're losing someone or you've lost someone. And to not have that financial support was, an added burden that was very difficult, especially for me having had a 4-year-old daughter at the time of my wife's death. But that experience was tremendous. Sam Champion was fantastic as far as the interview went. It was live, and you would think that I would have been a little bit nervous, but honestly, the mission that we had, there was no way that I was going to let that 3.5 minutes go by without trying to inform the public as much as I could that we're really here for them. This isn't a sale. This is an opportunity for them to protect what's most precious to them. We spend money on insurance for homes and cars and things that are precious to us. And sometimes we forget because it's not mandatory that your family is really relying on you. And it's a very difficult thing. And that's why I think the way the industry is transforming, we're having opportunities to create empathetic tools so that we're not just there for customers after their death or the death of their loved one, but also during their life and supporting them on their journey so that when that time comes for a benefit, we've already had that relationship. We've helped them live longer. It's turning into a partnership. So yeah, that opportunity on television, the opportunity to really get that message out there. Life insurance is just something people don't like to talk about. No one wants to talk about their mortality. But I think we have a real opportunity here to redefine what life insurance really is and make it more of a partnership that people have throughout their life, and that we will also be there at the end when their loved ones need us.
Absolutely, you certainly did a great job of conveying that message in a high, in a live setting like Good Morning America. It was very cool, very cool to see. So it seems like you've been at Amica for a few years now. What are some of the initiatives from a strategy, underwriting, innovation that you and your team have been working on in your time there?
So I started in Amica in March of 2025. So I'm still kind of in the early part of my time at Amica. I lead the product, the underwriting, and the new business operations team. So as I said, it's really one function to me. Like there's really one function from the new business portion, the underwriting portion, the product. It really goes together. So those functions, having them all report to me and work together and create efficiencies is really a great opportunity for us. I'm at Amica from my perspective to expand our core offerings and to try to align not only our product but our processes with our corporate mission of empathy. Empathy is a critical thing, not just for Amica Life Insurance Company, but for Amica at large, Amica Mutual, which is more than just a life insurance company. The cross function of underwriting and process is critical to us because we do have very simple client friendly contracts. And that's a very important thing to us, is to try to keep it, together in a way that the client can understand, keep it in their terms, really make it a friendly sale for them. So we're trying to be creative on the underwriting side and the process side so that we can create opportunities for the client without making the product and the transaction that much more complicated.
It seems like a no-brainer from an old P&C broker like myself to for life insurance to take a more proactive approach for to improve health outcomes. And why do you think there's such a major opportunity for the entire industry to bring a more preventative mindset and proactive to bring proactive health initiative to the forefront?
So we really have that shared mission with our clients. And I think that's one thing that we may not have capitalized on in the past. Um, Again, the focus has always been on death benefit protection. And as far as what the client would have during their life, we have riders like accelerated death benefit that's really more financial if they were to get sick and they needed some funds ahead of time. But we really haven't capitalized until more recently on that shared mission. And the shared mission is if we can help with the mortality, the morbidity of our customers, that also impacts our bottom line. It makes it an opportunity for us to provide life insurance that's more affordable, more accessible, while also providing the customer with opportunities not only to get credit for the lifestyle they have today, but also provide more targeted prevention, more targeted therapies, more targeted nutrition opportunities. I think the way underwriting is evolving is in the past, underwriting was basically a tool for pricing. So we're going to check your medical history and financial, and you're going to get a price. The way empathetic underwriting works is the more we know about you, the more we know about you as a client outside even of medical, like lifestyle and nutrition, we can give you credit for that. We can make life insurance more affordable. And we can even help you for certain ailments you might have or certain issues that you have or at a certain stage of life that you're in to provide, early detection possibilities, nutrition possibilities, partnerships that we're starting to have in the industry that are non-traditional life insurance relationships. I think wearables is certainly opening a new door where a lot of our clients now are much more aware of their health. I think the early wearables, which was strictly like an odometer, has really changed. And now there's a lot more sophistication, and you have clients coming in knowing what their sleep scores are. They're getting, information from their wearables. They're getting advice from their wearables. So now we have customers that are more in touch with their health as well. So it's a great opportunity for us as an industry to work with them to take that information in and give them a more comprehensive, not only a more comprehensive product, but offering that isn't just about death, but also about extending life. And where it helps us in making life insurance more affordable, that information actually will help keep the cost down on life insurance. And it won't be necessarily something that will drive the cost up. They'll be getting more benefits without that increase in the premium.
Yeah, it certainly seems to me that in terms of telematics on the property and casualty side and wearables, like you mentioned, that the younger generation seems more willing to work with their insurer or organizations to improve, whether it's improve their auto insurance scores or whatnot. It seems to me, would you agree that it seems to me that the younger generation is more would be more willing to work with their insurer on initiatives like this?
Right. And I think it's really important that they do. So I think one thing that I've recognized during my career is I think the generational gap is getting wider and wider. So it really can't be a one size fits all transaction. I think the younger generation generally would like things faster. They would like processes that are easier. But the problem in life insurance is we make things faster and easier, and we don't get that information that we need if we don't have more exam data, if we don't have labs. It makes it difficult for us to keep the price down. There's a real opportunity here to give Gen Z faster life insurance and easier, frictionless processes if they're willing to share their information. So having wearable data, collecting more info on themselves that they could share with us voluntarily. I think that's the key thing. Is I think we need to create that partnership with them so that they feel comfortable. If you're already buying life insurance and you're already entrusting us with your beneficiaries and your loved ones, by entrusting us with this additional information, the benefit of that is it can help us to try to keep the cost of life insurance down and really make us a participant in your health going forward. And it really can be more of a partnership. So I see Gen Z probably being a lot more willing, as you say, I think, than the older generations that may have been more protective of information. I think redefining life insurance will help. I think the archaic term of life insurance is strictly death insurance. And I think now we're really trying to turn a page and create something that is more holistic and is truly life insurance.
You made the point earlier that no one's really all that excited to go buy a life insurance policy and think about mortality and things like that. And I think they're, in our group at the collaboration thinks there's a really great opportunity to make it more about improved health versus just, selling a policy that you're not really too excited about the outcome. So I certainly agree. I know our team at the collaboration is very, very much actuarial focused, and we have a lot of actuaries in our group. What are your thoughts on? I've met with many actuaries in my time, in this journey and the many meetings that I've had. It seems there's not really a strong consensus from a carrier perspective that implementing more proactive health necessarily has a great ROI for insurers and reinsurers. Why do you, from an actuarial perspective, why do you think this makes so much sense for the industry?
It really does. I mean, to the bottom line, there are lots of factors that go into the pricing of life insurance. Obviously, the largest is mortality. So if people live longer, that's going to help keep the cost down. You also, depending on the type of policy you have, morbidity can come into play if there's disability. Persistency as well. I think having a partnership where the life insurance company and the client are really working together throughout the client's life, the insured's life, that additional persistency gives us an opportunity, again, to create offerings without that concern that an offering will be used and the client will leave and we won't necessarily, have the relationship last long enough to make it affordable and to make a profit and be there for our clients at the time of their death. So the opportunity is that for every element that we're helping the human race and helping our customers, that's also helping us turn something that was cutting in to our bottom line is now piling back up into our bottom line, and we love to give that to the customers. This really isn't about doing it so we can have fatter wallets or we can have larger margins. This is really trying to create opportunities that will pay for themselves. And in my past life, I've given some of these benefits to clients and questions have come up, and question is, well, what do you want in return? And what I want in return, it was a great answer. It was just live a happy life, live longer. If you live longer, we'll call it even. And it's a great feeling. I mean, what a feeling that you are helping people live longer and you're able to do it without your other mission being compromised, which is keeping life insurance affordable and accessible to all. And I think the future of insurance really is not only working with people that have already practiced a healthy lifestyle and already come in super healthy, but also having people that come in that we have an opportunity to provide resources that can help turn the tide for them. Turn the tide so that they're healthier, but also at the same time, if we're able to turn that tide, it makes life insurance now more affordable. And maybe they wouldn't even have qualified for life insurance before. And we could create benefits and partnerships that now they'll actually qualify it and be able to protect their family. The hardest thing for me, and I talked about it on Good Morning America, is I kept kicking the can. I married my wife at a very young age. We were 24 and 25. We didn't have a lot of money. So we said, well, we're living in an apartment. We don't need life insurance right now. When we buy a house, we'll get life insurance. Then you'll need it. So we bought a house, and then there was the mortgage. So the mortgage, especially living up here in Massachusetts, now you feel like you don't have the money. You're like, wow, I just bought this huge investment. I have this giant payment that I didn't have before. I'm early in my career. Um, we'll wait till we have children. When we have children, it'll happen. And then when my wife got pregnant, the thought was when the baby's born, we'll get life insurance. We have to get it. And she was diagnosed with cancer during the pregnancy in the third month. So making life insurance more affordable and more accessible, in addition to being there to help people live a healthy life, I mean, it's really the perfect marriage. It's a fantastic opportunity for us, and there's a lot of companies that are already done a lot of great things. I think this is one thing that, there's always insurance company competition, but I love these conferences where I think we all align and we collaborate and we are rooting for each other, I think, to really do what we can to make this industry more than what it's been in the past, and to really make it a more holistic offering for our clients across the board. And other actuaries and other employees and associates at other life insurance companies, I love hearing about their successes. I really do. And I think collaboration like yourself, you're someone who brings us together, who brings it to the forefront, that helps collect, all these wonderful things, and puts it into perspective away from the corporate side of what our mission really should be in the long run.
I very much agree. To your point, the incentives certainly line up for life insurers to promote healthier habits for their policyholders, and just I can just in my 2 to 3 years of going to insurance conferences and insure tech type groups, just the amount of interest on the life and health side, and those seeing the opportunity is very exciting to us, and definitely keeps us motivated, and we're very much looking forward to what the future holds. And to that point, what do you see in the next 5 to 10 years for the life insurance industry? You see it still on that gradual pace? You see an acceleration with the insure techs that are coming more to the forefront? What do you see in the next 5 to 10 years?
So I think we have a lot of momentum. I think the introduction of AI to the process is an interesting one, because when I talk about empathetic underwriting, what empathetic underwriting ideally will be in the long run will be having client information and trying to make the relationships more personable, right? More relatable to whatever your particular situation is. What AI is going to do is going to help processes move faster. And not that it's going to be less personable, but let's face it, talking to a person and talking to a bot, not really the same thing. So I think there's probably a right place for AI. I think what we'll see is AI is going to come into the picture for more straightforward life insurance cases where you're healthy, you're young, here's the life insurance offering. We're going to make this process nice and easy. So hopefully that's the Gen Z group. Hopefully they come in, they get insurance while they're young and healthy. I think where the personalization is going to come in, and where empathetic underwriting has to come into play, it's not that we're going to make life insurance slower, but I think we have to make it more personable. I think if you're talking to someone and you want to give them an opportunity for early cancer detection, or you want to work with them on their diabetes, or you want to work with them on a nutrition plan, I think we can utilize AI and the efficiencies that come with it. But I think there still needs, in order to have a true partnership and relationship, there's going to be a level of personalization. So I think it's going to be interesting, and I hope the two really complement each other. And I hope there's not this difficult kind of crashing of the two, where we feel like as an industry we have to make a decision for A or B. I think, especially with the changing landscape of the generations, I think one size fits all just doesn't work. And what I'm proud of our industry is that our industry really is starting to move away from that one size fits all. Here's a product, do you fit the product? I think what we're going to try to do going forward is we're going to have opportunities that really fit the client. So I think the momentum is going to pick up. And I'm really excited for the landscape. Like I said, a lot of early talks and a lot of early discussions, a lot of it too. We have wonderful reinsurers that I think sometimes don't get enough credit for really being great partners for insurance companies. They have a lot of data, they have a lot of great analysis in addition to larger organizations like the Society of Actuaries, like you, the Insurance Collaboration to Save Lives. You produce a lot of useful information that we can really pick up and take with us to create these great opportunities. But yeah, I see it moving forward. I see it moving faster. But I think there's going to be that decision tree that people are going to have to deal with regard to speed. And I think speed and personalization are important to Gen Z in order to have them share what they know about themselves so that we can, help them in their journey of a healthy life and getting life insurance to protect their loved ones going forward.
Any other closing thoughts or words of wisdom for our listeners? Anything that you and your team are working on in the very near future? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing is, like I said, I had a great opportunity on Good Morning America to try to lay it out for people how important life insurance really is. I think it's critical for us to do everything we can. I preach to everybody that it's more affordable than they think, and that we're being entrusted with your loved ones. We already have that relationship. I think the fact that we're building on that and trying to support these customers of ours and really partners of ours to live a healthy lifestyle is the right thing to do, because it really improves things twofold. Both your messaging, the messaging of Amika. I think being empathetic to the human race, like I know what your mission is, your personal mission, I'm sure aligns with mine, aligns with our two organizations, and that's probably why we are where we are. But there really is, having gone through the loss of someone I loved and watching them be ill at such an early stage in life, and seeing my daughter grow up without her mom. I think we want to do everything we can to help people avoid that scenario. We want to be there for them when they need us at the end of life. But we have this wonderful, wonderful opportunity with shared goals that we can really do something to try to help them delay or avoid some of these situations. I think people have busy lives, people have limited budgets. But I think nowadays, especially, people are now more in touch with their health, with their sleep habits than they ever have before. And I think wearable devices has definitely been a huge positive for people. I think people are trying to make changes. I think people have an awareness. It's imperfect, right? My wearable, a few months ago, I was coming home with groceries and my screen door hit me in the face and it started to call 911 and it said that I was in a car accident. So it's not perfect, right? These things aren't perfect.
But it's better to be too proactive than
exactly. Right. So, and I've also been told several times by one of my wearables that I needed to rest because I had a temperature when in fact I didn't. So things aren't perfect, but I think there's a lot of valuable information that we now have. I think there's a lot of wonderful studies with groups like yourself that have out there. I think the key thing is building that trust. I think we're going to need to build trust, because if we don't have that trust with the general public and they truly see us as someone that's there for death, you're not really there for me. You're just going to pay a benefit at the end. And, there's all this profit and it's very corporate. It doesn't have to be that way. I think, at Amika Life, we focus on life insurance policies that are simple to understand, that are easy to understand. And what we're looking into now is really creating benefits, creating innovation, innovative ways of underwriting, and innovative ways of offerings, so that we're not making it more complicated. And every opportunity I get, I try to bring it down to earth. I want to simplify it. I don't want to talk in actuarial speak. I don't want to talk in insurance speak. I really want to talk about where we've already proven through the years that we'll be there for your loved ones. Now it's time for us to be there for you. Help us help you. Let's work together. underwriting doesn't have to be a dirty word anymore. Now, underwriting is an opportunity for you to share with us and open up so that we can see what we have to help you and help you live a healthy lifestyle and also help you protect your family and afford and attain life insurance, which maybe before didn't seem attainable in the past.
The opportunity certainly is there, and our group at the collaboration could not be more excited about your individual leadership, but also Amika's leadership in the industry to push these great opportunities to the forefront. And Vinny, we really appreciate you joining the Pulse of Prevention podcast, and can't wait to see you again. I'm sure on the insurance conference schedule here very soon.
And thank you so much for the wonderful work that you're doing and the awareness. It really is impressive. And I'm really excited about how far you're continuing to go and the momentum that you're creating for the industry at large. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks so much, Vinny. Talk soon.
Thanks.